Good morning, esteemed colleagues, panelists, and attendees. I am Chetna Sharma, Assistant Professor at DME Media School, and it is my distinct honor to coordinate this significant panel discussion on the theme Gender Narratives, Empowerment, or Polarization in Media Ethics and Innovations. On behalf of Delhi Metropolitan Education College, Noida, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all our distinguished panelists, esteemed faculty, student participants, and all those joining us for this intellectually enriching session. Your presence today is a testament to the growing importance of such conversations in the landscape of media and communication. We gather here today as part of the 7th edition of the International Conference on Media, ICAN 7, a premier academic platform that continues to expand in both its influence and scope. ICAN serves as a dynamic space for fostering meaningful dialogue among scholars, media professionals, and researchers, enabling the exchange of ideas on emerging and critical themes in communication and media. This year, ICAN 7 is proud to collaborate with the South Asian Communication Association, that is SACA, a distinguished body promoting scholarly exchange not only within South Asia, but also on the global stage. We are also honored by the participation of reputed institutions and academic leaders who have graciously joined us for this year's edition. At the core of this endeavor is the DME Media School, which continues to set high standards in media education and research. Under the visionary leadership of our esteemed faculty, the Media School consistently curates platforms like ICAN to engage with contemporary debates in media and communication, encouraging the next generation of media scholars, thinkers, and practitioners to critically engage with and shape the future of the media landscape. So to begin this session, I now have the privilege of inviting Professor Dr. Parul Mehra, head of the DME Media School, to provide us with the opening address. Professor Mehra's vision and commitment to the advancement of media education have been a driving force behind the success of ICAN 7. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Chetna. So I welcome all the esteemed dignitaries who have joined us today. Professor Ankuran Datta sir from Sri Lanka, Professor Saxena is there, Professor Archana Kumari, and my dear friend Mehak Jonjua. And I appreciate your, confidence and support that you have accepted our invitation to be the speaker for this session on gender narratives, empowerment, and later. And of course, I would like to also welcome Professor Ravikant Swami sir, who is the director of DME Institute, and of course, all the participants from all across India, my dear colleagues and dear students. And I welcome each one of you to this panel discussion of our 7th International Conference. So before I discuss about the theme, I would like to share that we have accomplished 6 successful editions of ICAN so far, and DME Media School has entered into its 7th edition of this conference. On the theme this time, we have chosen, looking at the scenario about the influences, content, and algorithmic transparency and narrative building. And we have collaborated with SACA, which is a South Asian Communication, Association. I'm sure many of you are already aware of it, that the concept of this conference was initiated by one of our esteemed panel member, Professor Amrish Saxena, way back in 2018 only. And I'm sure sir will be happy to know that we are carrying this legacy forward with the same enthusiasm and passion, sir. So this year particularly, we have, especially honored to host such a diverse gathering from all across the globe. And we have received more than 80 insightful papers which are going to present in the technical session. Around 6 technical sessions we have planned this time. And I'm also very pleased that ICAN 7 this year has collaborated with Institute of Human Development, which is running an international Scopus Index peer-reviewed journal, which is a journal of repute, and the Media Space, which is a peer-reviewed journal of DME Media School only. So selected paper will be published in these 2 journals. And I would also like to share with you that we have already successfully conducted our inaugural plenary yesterday and plenary session 2 online with some prominent top-notch media professionals from industry as well as academia, and that too from all across the globe. and there have been a lot of, insightful deliberation on AI and content creation, then the narrative building. Well, for any conference, the key concept has always been to, provide a platform for the researchers and academicians and students to present their research work. But in ICAN 7 and in all the ICANs, our vision has always been to involve, these people in the, different academic discourse so that they can exchange their ideas, views, and opinions through different plenary sessions and panel discussions, and of course the master classes and workshop. And of course this time we have picked up this pertinent issue, and this is an open platform where people from academia and industry can also interact with each other, so that gap should be bridged, which is, there always between the academics and the industry. Well, this year it has been overwhelming response, because of the theme that we have set to explore, and it is a need of an hour also. And if I have to be very particular in sharing that which all are the media experts and international speakers who have joined us, they have joined us from different parts of the world, from US, Nigeria, China, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, UK, and they have connected with us, in different plenary sessions and panel discussion.
Till then, we'll proceed with the session. So next, I have the honor of inviting Professor Dr. Ravikant Swamy, Director DME, to kindly share his thoughts with us. His leadership has always been a guiding light for the institution and its academic community. Please, sir.
So, it's an important day for us that we have reached the valedictory of ICAN. I must thank Professor Ambrish Saxena for starting this international conference called ICAN, and now Dr. Parul Mehta is taking this forward. Of course, being part of DME, we remember how ICAN has graduated from its first version to the 7th version. And the critical part which is required in any international conference is participation from all parts of the world, and then collaborators which are collaborators who are meaningful. So in both the sense, ICAN has grown organically from its first version to the 7th version. Thank you, Ambrish sir, for laying such a strong foundation, and thanks Dr. Parul for taking forward this. I welcome all the guests, and I am sure this theme, AI, of course, AI is something on which I can say that a lot is said, but less is done. So, because in the past also, with every conference we are attaching AI. So we have been talking about AI in management, AI in law, and now AI in media. So artificial intelligence, yes, it is something which has, I can say that which has, disturbed the entire world. So with this relevant theme, I am sure this conference is going to be very fruitful for all the participants and all the panelists. Thank you.
Their contributions to the field have been profound, and I am confident that their perspectives will shape our understanding of this critical subject. So Professor Dr. Ankuran Datta is an esteemed academician, media scholar, and cultural communicator. He currently serves as the director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the High Commission of India in Colombo. Professor Datta has been instrumental in promoting intercultural dialogue and advancing media education at a global level, and his work continues to inspire media professionals and scholars alike. So we have with us Professor Dr. Ambrish Saxena, professor at the Faculty of Arts and Design, South Asian University, is a well-respected media educator and journalist. Professor Saxena's work in media ethics and communication pedagogy has had a significant impact on both academic thought and professional practice, and his expertise in these areas has helped shape media education in South Asia. So today we have with us Dr. Archana Kumari. She serves as an associate professor in the Department of Mass Communication and at Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Her scholarly work focuses on gender studies, media discourse, and feminist communication. Dr. Kumari is a recognized leader in her field, and I am particularly proud to welcome her today as she was one of my mentors during my master's program. Her guidance has had a lasting impact on my academic journey. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Mehak Jonjwa. She is a professor in the Department of Mass Communication at Sharda University. Her research spans across media, culture, and identity, and she has made significant contributions to the academic community through her publications and editorial work. As my PhD supervisor, Professor Jonjwa has been a cornerstone of my academic development, and I am delighted to welcome her as a panelist today. Also, one of our esteemed panelists, Dr. Abdul Kabil Khan, Associate Professor at Daffodil International University, Dhaka, Bangladesh, will not be able to join us today due to unforeseen circumstances. We are truly privileged to have such a distinguished group of scholars and practitioners with us today. And now I am pleased to hand over the session to our moderator of the day, Dr. Bharti Shandilya, an award-winning documentary filmmaker, academic and media professional with extensive experience in the media and entertainment industry. Dr. Bharti currently serves as an assistant professor at the University of Delhi. Her expertise and insightful approach to media discussions will surely guide us through this engaging and thought-provoking conversation. Over to you, Dr. Bharti.
I hope I'm audible. Thank you so much, Chetna, for delightful introduction. I would like to welcome everybody who are part of this session. Without wasting any further time, I would like to invite our speaker, the first speaker of the session, Professor Ankuran Datta, to enlighten us with his kind words. Dr. Ankuran.
Yeah, very good morning to all of you. So thank you so much, Dr. Bharti, Dr. Sharma, Professor Mehra, all the fellow panelists in this panel of ICAN 7. And more particularly, I must thank Professor Ambarish Saxena, my friend. And so at the very beginning, that when ICAN was started in 2018, I have been associated with the ICAN in all the 7 editions in different capacities. And I would like to thank Professor Saxena for wonderful platform that he created at Delhi Metropolitan Education. And DME became a brand in media education in the country, and with his able leadership. And I'm so happy that Professor Mehra is also continuing all the activities with her team. So I'm not going to take much of your time, but I would like to share only a few points. I hope that there are a lot of discussions already happening on different issues in this ICAN 7. And today's topic is gender narratives, empowerment and polarization in media ethics and innovations. So before going to my area, that because I work on more particularly in the grassroots communication and also the community communication. So I'd like to refer here that, of course, there is a few general points that I would like to make at the beginning on the gender narratives in the media, in the Indian media scape. So definitely there are rise of empowering contents in the media. And before that, I would like to share that now, earlier it was more easier to say about the media, but nowadays there are a lot of aspects are associated with the media and communication, because it is not only the traditional media, but also there are digital platforms. So a lot of digital platforms are there. There are different alternative media platforms are there. So it is a kind of now, whatever we do, it is a convergence of media always we do. Even if we use any grassroots media or any community media, at the same time, we use also the social media or the digital platforms. So altogether, it is a kind of that different media. It is not like that only one particular media platform that we utilize for any purpose that different. It is always all the time we utilize all the the media convergence. If you go through that very renowned television channels or the big newspapers also, at the same time, they have their web versions, they have their social media platforms. So the same news is basically disseminated not through only one particular channel, not through only one particular media outlet, but also through different outlets. So it is a basically convergence. So there is a rise of empowering contents in the Indian cinema, and also the OTT platforms and journalism have increasingly highlighted different women rights and the gender issues. And also there are a lot of discussions on the LGBTQ plus communities on the platforms, in different platforms. This is a good sign that there are a lot of media contents are now available in different platforms. So, but at the same time that there are also a few important concerns related to the media ethics, that is the sensationalization and also the sensitivity. It is like some of the media are responsibly amplify the gender issues, but at the same time, there are some media and some issues are basically very traumatized. So they there are a lot of ethical concerns about the dignity and the trauma, etc. And so and lot of like misogynistic contents are also available in the different media. So some of the social media platforms also, they enable gender activism very active way. But at the same time, there are also the possibility of trolling, harassment, polarization, challenging media ethics on the free speech. And we often misinterpret the article of our media freedom, or the freedom of speech and expression in the Constitution of India, but also that these are a few major concerns that I'm not going to take a lot of time on the general contents, but I would like to share with you something very interesting about the community media or the alternative media scenario, and where we can have a lot of gender-related issues, and I find that gender narratives are more prominent, and they get a lot of opportunities for the gender narratives in different alternative media platforms available in India. See, if we say about I completely understand that in the age of the rapid expansion of the AI and also the digital platforms, it is very difficult to say that what is the existence and the importance of the community media in this context. But still, being an advocate of the community media, I always prefer that there are still a lot of people, like around 30 to 40% of the population, those who cannot access the different digital platforms are there in India. And for them, not only for them, but for other people also, that community media can be a very good platform. And I need not to share with you the concept of community media. All of you are aware about that. But I did a couple of research during the time of COVID, and also before that, I found that lot of women participation through the community media. It is not because that they are accessible. We always say that community media is basically the voice of the voice for the voiceless, but not only for that reason, because the mainstream media, they are far away from the grassroots. So these are the only communication model, only communication form where the community people, where the grassroots people, where the marginalized people can participate, and also they can share their ideas. And I would like to give you a couple of examples. When I worked with the Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, called CEMCA, of the Commonwealth of Learning in New Delhi, during that time, from the Commonwealth of Learning in Vancouver, we developed a model called Community Learning Program, CLP. That community learning program was utilized in many places across the world, in more particularly in some Caribbean countries like Malawi, in Asian countries, Bangladesh, and also in India. I'm just giving one example from that. It is not a new thing. It is around 10 to 12 years back in 2013. I'm just talking about 2012, 2013. There is a community radio station in Gurgaon called Gurgaon Ki Awaaz. That radio station, they applied that model of community learning program to engage the marginalized community in the program production, in the content development. And that particular program was known as Chahat Chowk. And in that program, one mid-aged lady, she basically anchored the whole program. And hundreds of women, they were part of that program because it was more on the sexual hygiene and the reproductive health. So they didn't want to come forward to other media, but it was a kind of such a comfortable platform for them. And they shared a lot of ideas. They shared their lot of problems. Those problems were resolved through that media. And even it became a kind of, not only on that particular issue, but later on also it became a kind of platform where a lot of people participated in different ways. The Ministry of Science and Technology of Government of India, under the National Council for Science and Technology Communication called NCSTC, also started a Pan-India program, two Pan-India programs. So one was called Radio Mathematics. Of course, it is a kind of educational program, but the other program was Women's Health and Nutrition. That program was very successful through different community radio stations, and where 90% of the participants in that entire program were women participants. So one is, there are two, what I find that there are two major aspects in this particular theme. One is the women's participation, and other is the gender narratives. So from both the angle that I find that I have a lot of research data available. If there is time permit later on, I can share with you. But so many community radio stations, not only in India, but also I extensively worked in Bangladesh. There are 18 community radio stations who worked. Whenever we discuss about the community media or the alternative media, we always find that why they are important. But is there any importance or existence, or it is required for the community, as because that we have hundreds of different media outlets, and we have been suffering from the information overload. But there are some people that who required it. And as I have given the example of the Gurgaon Ki Awaaz, that Gurgaon Ki Awaaz, that radio station is not based in a very remote area of Northeast. It is based in a metropolitan city, but it is successful that hundreds and thousands of people participated in that radio program. So with this, I would like to pause here, but definitely I'll be available if for any question later on. And there are so many speakers in this panel, and with this concept, and I always believe that not only we shouldn't focus all the time only on the mainstream media, Indian cinemas, OTT platforms, and also the huge television networks and the huge print media and other channels, but also that there are a role that who can change the narratives. There are small initiatives in the different places. There are community radio stations owned by only women, owned by even LGBTQ communities. They share their ideas. There is a radio station in Bangalore where a lot of LGBTQ community are involved in that program production and content development. So these community radio stations, maybe they may not have the audience in millions, but with thousands of audience also, they can change the narrative on gender and on many other different political and societal issues. thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Again, DME team, thank you so much. And I would like to thank Professor Saxena for your all initiative and continuing support. Although you are not now at DME, you are in South Asian University, but still, I'm so happy to see you here in this panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Datta. It was very insightful the way you have elaborated on the misinterpretation of Article 19 and how important it is for us to understand the power of AI. Now, I would like to call the second panelist of the session, Dr. Archana Kumari, for for her kind words.
Thank you very much, Bharti ma'am, and thank you very much. I really want to congratulate DME ICAN for successfully holding this the edition of this particular conference, international conference started by Professor Amresh Saxena sir and carried forward by Parul Mehra ma'am. So this is from the very first edition, I wanted to participate in ICAN, but somehow I could not. Many times my papers got selected, but I could not come. But finally, this time, I am getting this opportunity to talk about such an pertinent issue of gender narratives, especially innovations. And this topic is very, very pertinent as well as very interesting at this point of time, because when we talk about gender narratives, it's empowerment. We always forget to talk about polarization, media ethics, and innovation, which are three very important parts incorporated into the topic. So I feel that this is very pertinent, and especially when media is being saturated at this point of time, how gender narratives are created and how gender narratives are being mixed, as well as I would say not gender narrative, but gendered narratives, because people who are behind the scenes, who are actually creating the news and information, they are actually putting their some of their own positive or negative or polarized thoughts or whatever biases they have. We are sometimes unable to check those biases, and that's why this gendered narratives many times it comes forward. And the ethics part, sometimes we leave it behind, and we need to discuss all these topics, all these points nowadays, when media is actually not only shaping, molding, creating the opinions, but it is very actively telling you that what to think about. So in this digital landscape, which Professor Ankuran Datta has already stated very well, that we have not only one type of media, we have a huge media landscape, we have a globalized media, we have a media which is pervasive in nature. It does not only reflect the society, but it actually constructs the realities. It negotiates meanings. It says that how to make sense of the things. So there are many potent narratives which are around gender, how it is represented, how it is discussed, how it is debated. The narratives are the tools of empowerment, and at the same time they become the tools of the polarization also. And that's why there is only one factor, which is ethics, which separates and which can actually play a very important role, active role in creating or in changing some narratives into empowerment, and some narratives into polarization, some narratives into the fake or disinformation around gendered perspective. So that ways ethical values are very important, and that is the filter we need to use everywhere whenever there are storytelling and narratives. And we know that nowadays media is not very, we cannot say that we are all the time we are getting only news and information and objective kind of information. We are getting narratives. So there is a war of narratives which is going on around each and every topic. So how ethically and innovatively we are actually creating those narratives, and media is creating those narratives and gender stories. These are the points which we need to discuss. So there is a dual nature of gender narratives. One side, media provides that critical platform for feminist advocacy, queer visibility, and it is challenging patriarchal norm, on the other side, we are also, especially in media, it is also very much infected by disinformation, sensationalism of women body, and sometimes identity politics. So sometimes what happens that the ethical consideration take a backseat in this market-driven content or algorithmic bias. We all know that how AI is actually penetrating the media space also. And in this AI, we are getting a lot of gendered narratives because we see that how the creation of this is a kind of creation which does not talk about the diversity, which our country is very much proud of. So it does not talk about diversity, it does not talk about the identity of the women. And women is also, they not only women but all types of genders, and there is intersectionality also which we need to think about. There are layers of class, caste, religion, languages, and society is a multi-layered construction. So that ways we need to think about all those points, and then we need to think about that how media is creating and instrumental in creating these kind of narratives. There are some case studies which are very important to talk about, and I think that Me Too movement, we cannot forget about it, which was innovative in the sense that it was started by one person. It was a personal experience, but it converted into the collective advocacy. So that way, it was very much innovative when social media was used for this activism kind of thing. Although there were many kind of ethical implications also, and there were many people who blamed, and sometimes it was also came to the notice that it was misused to some point, to some extent. But this was the in 2017 it happened, and hashtag on social media, this kind of virality we saw first time, and everybody came forward and started from one corner of the world and spread like in every corner of the world. Everybody came out with their own stories. So this movement, I think that we must see it as one of the case study where it has been used, and it was criticized also. It was called trial by media. There was lack of verification in many cases. There were binary, there were victim shaming. There were many things which were worth, and for academicians, it is worth studying also. So this particular case study, it talks about empowerment as well as ethical tension, I would say. So not only concern but also ethical tension, and it reminds us of narrative control must be created with responsibility. So if you have the power to create the narrative, there should be, we cannot go away or shy away from creating, and in whatever way, in whatever direction this media industry is taking. But at the same time, the responsibility and ethical concerns we should not forget. And that is why such kind of topics are very much pertinent at this point of time when we talk about narratives buildings and innovations, as well as ethical consideration and polarization, obviously. So in that sense, even transgender visibility in Indian media is also very much prominent these days, because we have movies like Super Deluxe, we have movies like Tali, where we have seen that how transgenders are also represented in a way which was not earlier into practice. Means there were a lot of such cases where there was either comic character or demonizing the transgender individuals was there. But now we are seeing some sensible depiction of these kind of in these kind of movies. And this happened particularly after 2014 Nalsa judgment, and by Supreme Court, which recognized the third gender. And that is why there are many ethical challenges also even today in media. When we talk about transgenders, there are many ethical challenges, because how the society will accept, in what way we should present it. There are these challenges, but there is a lot of innovative potential also, because beyond these challenges, we have the scope of innovations. We have a scope of telling the narratives and the stories in our own way, and how society wants to see. More than that, what direction we need to give to the society, that is more important. Also, polarization is very important point, because intersectionality, which I talked about, we forget intersectionality during the polarization, because if for that matter, if we take the case of religion, women in different religion are treated or portrayed in a different way, and we convert into only as a binary discussions, and we forget that there are different kind of cultural baggages also which are there working on the narrative. So these points we must think about it, and ethical or algorithm and AI, when we talk about it, we must not forget that we have our own concept of gender, we have our own tradition of gender. We are the country and we are the place where gender narratives have been taken very seriously. So we should be using these platforms, especially AI and digital media, very responsibly. And we have to think about ethical innovation. We have to think about intersectional representation, whether gender cannot be discussed in isolation, whether where gender intersects with many kind of different shades of the society. So empowerment lies in inclusivity. Multidimensional storytelling is very much needed. Ethical journalism is very much needed. Media literacy is very much needed. And innovation should be done with integrity. It cannot be done all kind of innovation, whether it is AI related or whether it is fake news or deep fake or anything which we are busting right now. It should be done with responsibility and with integrity. So I think that if we can think about all these points, then we can actually give all those narratives can be created in such a way which is suitable for the society, which is very much useful and constructive for the society. So again, I would come back to the point that there should be only ethical filter which separates this polarization and any kind of divisive narratives from those empowerment point of view of narratives. So with this, I think that this was my point related to gendered narratives. So I would like to request the moderator, Vam, to please take it forward. So I would stop here. Thank you. And open for any question related to my topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Rachana. It was very insightful. And it is very important in nowadays that what is the importance of ethical values in the era of AI, and very well said. And now I would like to request Professor Mehak Jonju to enlighten us with her words.
Yes, Dr. Bharti, thank you so much. And thank you, Chetna, for the wonderful introduction. So in the age of 24/7 media and digital dominance, gender stories are not just reflections of society, but they are also instruments that shape attitudes, challenge norms, and at times deepen the divides as well. The question we must confront is, are media narratives empowering gender identities, or are they polarizing them for profit or propaganda? So let me begin with a hopeful note. Films like Thappad, which was released in 2020, challenged the normalized domestic violence, urging audiences to rethink the line between tradition and injustice. Then there was a TV campaign, Ladu and Balika Vadhu, spotlighted child marriage and female infanticide, stirring discussions even in rural India. Then, like a Girl campaign by Whisper India, it redefined the feminine strengths, empowering millions to reclaim the phrase as a badge of pride. Digital platforms from YouTube to Instagram have allowed creators like Kusha Kapila, Ankush Bahugana, and Priya Malik to challenge the gender binaries and the gender roles through satire, poetry, and storytelling. These are not just success stories, but they are also case studies of ethical innovation, using media to empower by providing a platform for the unheard. But then comes the flip side, polarization and profit. However, empowerment often comes with its strength, that's polarization. Consider the controversy around Deepika Padukone's visit to JNU before the release of Chapak. Was it solidarity with the survivors or a media spectacle? The media narrative became sharply polarized in that case. News debates often reduce gender rights to TRP-driven spectacles. For instance, the coverage of hijab row in Karnataka, which turned a personal choice into a public war of ideologies. Then there was a trolling and digital witch hunting, seen in cases like Riya Chakravarti's media trial showcase how women are often vilified to satisfy voyeuristic public interest. When ethics are compromised for sensationalism, media becomes not a mirror but a magnifying glass, distorting rather than just reflecting. What then is the path ahead? Now, here I propose a 3R model, that's representation, responsibility, and reform. Now, when we talk about representation, now representation must go beyond tokenism. Why are newsroom leadership roles still are overwhelmingly male dominated? Why are trans and queer stories still told by cisgender writers? Now, responsibility must be systematic. Every journalist and content creator must ask who is being represented, how are they being framed, who is profiting from the narrative. Then when we talk about reforms, reform means innovation with a purpose. AI and digital analytics can be used to audit gender bias in media. Schools of journalism must include gender ethics as a mandatory part of the curriculum. Let me close by reminding you that media is not a monolith. It is a collective. It is a collective of choices. Each time a filmmaker challenges patriarchy, each time a journalist resists the sensationalism, each time an editor hires for diversity, they are nudging the narrative towards empowerment, not polarization. Uh, to quote the feminist scholar uh, Nosy Adeshe, the problem with stereotypes is not that they are untrue, but that they are incomplete, and media must complete the story with courage, creativity, and conscience. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, and humble gratitude to the DME officials for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Professor Mehak. It was very, very important topic, and the way you have elaborated the importance of having a R model and the importance of having solid narratives in contemporary media scenario. And without wasting any further minute, I would like to invite Professor Ambrish Saxena for his discussion.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Parul, and for organizing such a nice panel. And as far as this whole topic goes for this today's session, uh, I will start from the basics, like the kind of society that we live in, particularly firstly referring to Indian society, then the whole of the South Asia, because more or less the entire South Asia carries the same kind of culture, the same kind of practices and everything. And then also looking into as to what is happening, what has been happening in other parts of the globe. Now, in Indian society, since the society is completely divided uh, on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste. So, in such a situation, if we believe or if we expect that women will get their own status in the society, that is really, really very difficult. I will not say impossible, because we all have witnessed the changes that have occurred in our society for the last 40, 50 years. But despite this, the kind of progress that would have been expected, that should have been expected, is not seen. So that is one major point that I want to raise. And then, as I said, that if we also relate this whole thing to what is happening in other parts of the globe. Uh, in other parts of the world also, particularly if I refer to countries which have more or less the same kind of society. When I say same kind of society, particularly I'm referring to the kind of feudal system that has been there. The most common comparison can be between India and UK and many other European countries. There, women have never got their due status. Normally, we feel in today's time that women are very liberated in the West, but that's not the correct picture. In India, comparatively, we can say, or even in other countries, whether it's Pakistan or it's a Bangladesh, it's a Sri Lanka, women leadership has always been there. But if you try to find such kind of examples in other parts of the world, you will hardly find even the women were not having their voting rights in the most progressive or most developed country of United States. So the women, I mean, the society is such that it's very difficult for women to come forward and to do something for their progress and for the progress of the society. Now, if we look into the media, media is a very complex term, and I mean, it's a term which is very difficult to define, because if we go by the perceptions that people have in today's time, particularly, if anybody says media, the obvious reference people feel is to the TV channels, TV news channels. TV news channels are not the media in the right sense. When we say media, then obviously we have to refer to the print media, we have to refer to radio, we have to refer to digital media, we have to refer to all kind of alternate media, as Professor Ankuran Datta was talking about the community media. So, I mean, so many categorizations, so many classifications can be done of media. But when, again, we refer to media, besides the television channels, another reference is there that we are talking about capital intensive media. Now, what kind of media is this? And this is the same right from India to the United States. This is a media which people with deep pockets, they have created this media. And what for they have created this media? They have created this media to make profits, to ensure their proximity with those who are sitting in the governance, and to take all kind of advantages from the people sitting in power. Now, in this media, profit making is the ultimate thing. And all those people who can be instrumental in bringing profits to television channels or to other big newspapers and big media organizations, they are getting heavy salary, but then other people have no status. Now, in such a scenario, wherein the people with money, they are on top, in a scenario where people belonging to majority community, they are on the top, in a scenario wherein there is no place for underprivileged class. So women again are, if not exactly, but they again belong to a class in India and other South Asian countries as well, which are which belong to underprivileged sections or section of the society. So women have no space in such a situation. Now, what for women are required in media, if I put this question straight? Women are required in media to showcase to the world that we have these beautiful faces which can attract the crowd, because ultimately TRP is the ultimate thing. But as far as the policy making is concerned, as far as taking vital decision is concerned, there are hardly, if we count in Indian media again, because it's easy to pick up examples from Indian media, Indian television channel, you will hardly find 3 or 4 women who are close to that decision-making status. Otherwise, women are not in the decision-making status. Now, if in media, women are not in that status wherein they can call the shot. So what kind of content will be then will be selected and broadcast? The kind of content which are completely regressive. So when regressive contents are being produced, regressive contents are being presented on television. So obviously, what kind of change media can bring to the society? So 2 things we must understand here. Within the media, what is the status of women? Whether they have some say in having a decision about the contents, If not, which is actually not, in metropolitan cities like Delhi and Bombay, we can find in television channels the newsroom is full of girls. But that's a very misleading experience anybody can get. In the entire media, you will not find women on the field in the countryside, outside the metropolitan cities. So how the women-centric issues can be covered? And then if the person sitting in the newsroom or in the top position of a channel, how can he can appreciate those issues, even those issues are being covered on the ground. So women issues are completely missing. Women representation are completely missing. In such a scenario, what kind of gender issues that we are talking about? We can debate all these things sitting in big places, in metropolitan cities, even in online sessions, but we are actually not aware. Most of the people who are in academics, who are in research, they again come from the urban background. They are completely unaware as to what is happening on the ground outside the metropolitan cities, outside the urban areas. They have no exposure, no experience of this. Our education system is also such. All big institutions, good institutions are in big cities. So, I mean, you ask any of the people who are there in this session, maybe some handful, 5, 10 people who come from small towns, they have that kind of experience as to what kind of people live in this country, what kind of women live in this country, in villages, what are the issues of women in rural areas. Nobody will be aware of that. So in such a scenario, the task becomes really difficult as to how women will get their status in the society. And then again, though I don't want to create any sections among the women, but then urban women have their different issues and rural women have their different issues. And India is a country and almost the same kind of society, as I already said, in other countries, South Asian countries is there. Most of the countries are basically rural in nature. Is still the main occupation of the people, the majority of people in India and other countries of South Asia, that is the rural livelihood is there. In such a scenario, the task of the people who are in academics, who are in research, who are into policy making, who are in governance, they have to think as to how this situation can change. Right now, another important aspect of this whole issue is when we say gender. So in India and other parts of the world also, first obvious reference is to women. But what about other genders? Now, this is again interesting to note in today's time, the kind of things which are happening in different parts, and particularly I would like to have a reference to what is happening in the United States. The kind of political forces which are emerging. And US leadership is always important because everything starts from the US in this world because of the unipolar nature of the contemporary world, wherein whether it's science, whether it's technology, whether it's economic development, whether it's trade, it's the US which which decides everything, and everybody is responding to the kind of policies which US is making. Now, you would have heard very recently, only last week, a woman of Indian origin based in the US, she was perhaps holding some position to take care of the inclusivity and gender and all such issues in NASA. She was fired. And the organization, the NASA, was apprehending that under Trump administration, there could be trouble. So they even changed her designation so that she does not come in the firing line, but still she was removed from her post. Now, this is just one single example. This is happening in a big way in the US. The funding by the US administration has been stopped for all such activities which are aimed to the welfare of LGBTQ community. And this is affecting whatever welfare things are happening for LGBTQ in all parts of the world, because all NGOs in India, in Bangladesh, or in other countries, they are getting funds from the US. And there is now an announced policy of the Trump administration that they are not going to give any fund for this nonsense. I mean, quoting this whole thing from the in the words of Trump. So he is feeling what kind of nonsense is happening. This is not an issue. Why to talk about gender? Why to talk about LGBTQ? So because his only focus is to make money. So all these issues are meaningless, nonsense. In such a scenario, how the media will fight with this? Media, which is again in the pockets of capitalists. So nobody will take up this issue with Trump administration or with the people sitting in government in India or in any other country. So the situation is really, really disturbing as to how women will get their due status. And unless that happens, no society can develop. I mean, making money is not the ultimate thing, cannot be the ultimate thing in any society for development. Economic development is definitely important, but that's not the only thing. If I again refer to the kind of subjects, kind of things that we take up under development communication, even in our BJMC and MJMC program. So very clearly, when we look at development, we have to have an holistic approach, wherein social development is also possible, is also necessary. So if there is no social development, women are not getting their due status, people belonging to other genders, they are not getting their due status, there are no opportunities to them, they are not in the decision making. So in such a scenario, what kind of society we can expect in any country? I mean, talking and debating is fine, but lot of things have to be done on the ground. So only hope in such a scenario. Otherwise, also, I don't have any hope with the big media. Though there are good people, it's not that it's all bad. There are good people working in all capital intensive media, as I call it. But then we have to look at the alternate media, as Professor Ankuran was referring to community media. So community media has to be strengthened. People on the ground, working on the ground, they have to do such kind of things, like could be the community radio, could be the community newspaper, and also the digital media, which can be local and which can contribute something to develop a line of thought which is for the inclusive development of the society. Development cannot be of the few sitting on the top. But unfortunately, the capitalism, the kind of system that we have from India to the US, and then within that capitalism, the whole nexus, the whole crony capitalism, this will not help. In a capitalist system, women will be used only for selling the product. But when if we want the society to progress, we have to ensure that women are sitting in decision-making positions. They are on top. They are sitting in parliament. They are sitting in government. I mean, if you just look at the example of India alone, how many women are there in politics? How many women are there in sitting in assembly and in Lok Sabha? We just have one woman chief minister in the entire country. I mean, in the BJP, like Mamta is also there. But then they are very, very few. And again, this is an unfortunate thing. The women who have reached on the top, they are hardly doing anything for women. The West Bengal example is there. The most horrifying rape happened in West Bengal only. And the chief minister tried her best to hide everything from people's eyes. So then again, so media's role changes a lot in such a scenario. That it has to be very, very proactive, and it has to be very, very grounded. Only then any debate on media, on any debate on women empowerment, any debate on gender, or only then it is possible. I was just very, very recently writing a paper which I'm going to present in this year IMCR Singapore, which is on this only as to how women voters make a difference. So they can help in changing a society. But then there are again question marks if the women are able to take independent decisions, independent of their husband, independent of their family members. So all these issues also need to be taken up. But then ultimately, I would like to end on a positive note, despite all these challenges which I talked about. But still, there is a hope, and we should all continue doing our efforts in whatever way we can. We all can contribute in one way or the other. Like holding this kind of session and debating this issue is again an example as to what extent we are concerned on these issues. We should be concerned on these issues, and how we can contribute towards having a better future, better society, better world, wherein women have a decisive space in our society. So with this, I finish. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very, very, very informative. And like you said, the need of having women leadership in the society and the importance of women to be on the front row is the need of the hour. And by this, I am opening the session for the question answer. And if anyone, any participants have any question to any of our panelists, they can ask, and we would be happy to answer your questions. Is there any questions? You can also write your questions in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Okay, my question is for the panel. Anyone can answer. I wanted to know that do you think this narratives in India is seriously helping a woman for the upliftment, or just cementing the fake image of the women, especially the urban women on the social media, which affects its image in the society with reference to the Indian society? Because we see a lot of narratives related to the urban women, and it's not urban women, it's basically the jokes on them which I can see, and people, we women and ourselves, we circulate such kind of uh, memes or such kind of reels to the other people. So is it helping us, as it is a main function of the media, or degrading our image?
Dr. Yamini, I think our social infrastructure is such which is not aligning with the social media platforms, I would say. There are different people, and different people have their own views, which we are free to put on social media platforms. So you cannot say that it can build or it can tarnish. Everyone has their own viewpoints, and you cannot change anybody's viewpoints. Maybe, with the passage of time, maybe we change that. But as of now, because there is free flow of messages on social media platforms, I think it is very difficult. I mean, if I have some perspective, it will remain the same.
Thank you so much, Professor Mehak. Is there any other question?
I just want to ask one thing. Like we come across in news media that government is doing so much for the women, for this gender stuff, right? But is that happening in reality, or just in news and on?
If I can add just one or two lines to whatever Ashiji said. See, in a male-dominated society, you should not expect much. Whatever lip service men do, no man will ever be interested in women upliftment, because then all their dominance will go away. So, I mean, there's a long struggle where women have to undertake themselves. So women have to fight for their status. Men will not give them position easily. So, and then whatever effort the government is doing, they are again doing this for showing this to the world that they are very progressive. At the heart of all political parties, you can easily understand this by looking at their actions and the policies that they make and the way they execute. They never want that women go forward. They will be seen giving 5,000 rupees to women. But that is completely a regressive step. Such kind of steps will never allow women to move forward in life.
So,
Thank
Dr.
you, sir.
Bharti, I also have one question. In extension to what Professor Saxena has said, that media is a mouthpiece of selected political parties and fundamentalist. I'm talking about the mainstream media, and it is of course they are towing away sometime a popular line in a name that what they want to tell, they are exaggerating and preparing a narrative out of it. And also extension to what Dr. Yamini has put up about the user generated content. So my question is for all the panel members, because if mainstream media is for the selected political parties, or maybe the fundamentalist, or maybe the elite sections only, and on the other side, when we take we say that maybe the alternate media is a platform through which the gender biasness can be I mean suppress, or this is a platform where we can talk positive about the social development of the economy as a whole. So I just wanted to say that social media today is more or less sir, we think that user generated content is a powerhouse. And if you particularly pick up one of the social media platform, that is of Instagram, I think we all know that the significant portion of the content is by the public, general public only. And it is a community driven content where around 18% of the creators are primarily earning through it. But the point here is that the content which is there on the social media also, it is not in support of certain gender, so they, because they are earning out of it, so they are preparing a content which set a narrative in a way. So I think that if we talk about the gender equality, or we talk about the gender sustainability, it is very difficult to say that which medium is positive to be to work for the gender. So I want to know from the panel members that how then we can figure out this problem, how this gap will be bridged if the entire media system is social media is a earning platform, the mainstream media is about elitist or the political party, then how this problem will be sorted in the times to come?
Okay. So
Please
the
go
thing
ahead,
is,
ma'am.
yeah, the thing is that yes, it's a big problem. But again, I just want to refer that whenever from Amritsar's speech only, that decision making power is the key. Because when you are in the decision making role, you can actually do. And second thing is that empathy towards the other women. Because the thing is that what Yamini ma'am has also highlighted, that we women are also very much conditioned in the society. So we laugh at ourselves, and we laugh at those memes and jokes which are very degrading in nature. So that empathy is lacking. And when we become aware, when we become educated, and as sir has also said that giving just 5,000 rupees and taking away the right to education and decision making power is something which is really regressive in nature. So in that condition, I feel that one of work which I did, one of the paper I did, is that how the economics of transformation is there. Because in advertisement, we see that the role of the women, especially urban women, elite women, it is changing. They are they are showing, especially in the Bornvita. If you see the Bornvita campaign or Titan campaign, you will see that the women are shown in a completely different light in the decision making, in breaking the stereotypes. So why is that? Because they are earning, they are contributing to the economy. There is $20 trillion economy which is run by women in the world. So you cannot neglect this much big force. And once this money power comes in their hands, the decision-making role is also, because independence and dependent upon people, means that is going away. Means when they are earning, they have also the agency to spend that money. So that earlier it was not there, but nowadays they are having this agency over themselves. So that agency is giving them power. And I feel that this economic liberation and economic independence will bring out the change, not only at the very senior level, but also at the grassroots level. When the we see in our household, even the our mates they are also taking the decisions. How are they able to take the decisions? Because they are earning, they are making those changes. And that empathy and I think decision making power, these two are the keys which are very much needed in our society to improve the status of women. Media is just a tool, but media will reflect, will, in that sense I don't want to just diminish the role of media. Media has a great role to play, but when it will see it is run through the market, when it will see that we have the purchasing power, we are the potential audience, it will certainly, the economics of transformation will work here. And just like the advertisement where women are shown in a different role nowadays, we will see everywhere the women will come up. And nowadays we see that in the film industry also, there are women-centric role with women-centric movies which are very much into I would say the demand, as well as the people are making it. So why is that? Because they themselves are changing. So the key is in our hand only. And as Amrit Saxena sir said, that no men and nobody else can change it. We have to take the cudgel in our own hands. So that's what I just want to answer. This is my reflection on your question.
Dr. Archana, I'm very well satisfied with your answer, but there is one thing which I wanted to highlight here. Few days back, I was reading something on the internet, and I came to know that in some one research paper itself, that Google algorithms itself, while hiring the people for Google itself, have the algorithmic gender biasness. You know, in their algorithm itself, if the people are giving the interviews and male and female, they have different packages for the same roles. And because most of the forces they are hiring were women, and then when they overview for the algorithms, they came to know that this is what is happening in different parts of the world, so they changed it. So these are some of the perspectives which are still in the world. And with a company like Google, where you say that we have the economic empowerment and we have a spending power, that's all right. But on the same page, we can see this kind of hypocritic views by the company like Google itself. So I think that you are right that the force is in our hand only. We have to change it. No one will else will change it.
Yes.
So I agree and satisfy this with this, but there is other notions also which are there, and we can always talk about it in our further upcoming sessions, or maybe in the upcoming conferences.
Yes, ma'am. But we should not idolize Google also. Google is also part of the society, I feel.
I know, but we are actually, people are idolizing it, and they themselves have this kind of algorithm problem. They have to overview it, and then they came to know that yes, this is the problem. Unke apne algorithms mein they have this kind of feeds that women will get that, men will get that, and because when they have a slabs for a lower salaries, automatically Google will come up with the more and more female force, because they are giving same different salary for the same work to different genders. So I was reading, and it was shocking for me. I thought that it is only in India, but I came to know that it is not only India. It is in the entire world, the gender biasness. So I completely satisfy with your this argument, but we have a larger view and different perspectives also.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yamini. Thank you, Dr. Archana. Now, I would like to request Ms. Garima Jain to proceed for the vote of thanks.
Thank you. It is my honor to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing team of ICAN 7. First and foremost, our sincere gratitude to all the esteemed speakers for sharing their valuable insights on the ethical dimensions and innovative possibilities of AI in media. Your contribution have truly enriched today's session and inspired us to rethink the future of our industry. A special thanks to our wonderful moderator, Dr. Bharti, for leading the session with such clarity and grace. We are deeply grateful to the management, our convener, Professor Dr. Parul Mehra, co-convener Dr. Yamini Kullar, for their unwavering support and visionary leadership, which have made ICAN 7 a successful academic platform. We also thank our knowledge partners, IIMC, Kalindi College, Delhi University, and Shroff College, Mumbai, and our international partners, SACA, our publication partners, IHD and Media Spaces Journal, and our media partners, News 44, Dynamite India, and Quick News for their constant support. To all our delegates, participants, and members of the DME Media School who's joined us virtually, thank you for your enthusiastic participation. Lastly, a big thank you to the technical team, production team, student coordinators, newsletter team, administration, and IT department for ensuring the smooth execution of this session. With that, we conclude this engaging session. May the conversation that began truly continue to grow and lead to meaningful innovations. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you in the valedictory ceremony of ICAN 7, which is today at 3 p.m. So please do try and join us, everyone.